Good evening and welcome to an all-new episode of Hello Kuwait. I'm your host, Rita Abdu, and we'll be with you for the next hour with varied content from reports, of course, prepared by our team, and of course, amazing guests coming up. This evening, I'll be hosting with my co-host, Tariq Al-Aryan. How are you, Tariq?
I'm fine, thank you. What about yourself?
Great, thank you.
That's great. And Rita, as usual, the camera crew have been very busy. We have a lot of great reports and a lot of information to get to on tonight's episode, time permitting, right here on Hello Kuwait. But a little bit of information that we always have at the top of our program. You know, today we'll be talking a little bit about the concept of the Diwaniyah, which is the reception area where a Middle Eastern man receives his business colleagues and male guests. Today the term refers both to a reception hall and the gathering held in it, and visiting or hosting a Diwaniyah is an important feature of the culture of Eastern Arabia. Diwaniyah has several types: private, public, and family. The private is just for close friends who usually gather daily and are enjoying like different things on a weekly timing where anyone can visit. While family Diwaniyahs is an official gathering of prominent family where all people can come and meet the family members, Rita.
That's right, Tariq. Well said. Diwaniyahs are very valued in our culture, and I think they're pretty fun for the men.
That's right. There's a lot of different things. You talk about everything from A to Z, and it's enjoyed by all, Rita.
That's right, for sure. Well, dear viewers, moving on to our first report, which is on the Youth for Climate Action Kuwait Ghabqa at UN House.
Today we are actually celebrating the young Kuwaitis, the young volunteers who have been actually promoting with us climate action, and they're taking the lead in climate action for Kuwait. They have been working with us since October to actually promote three key issues: solid recycling, renewables, energy, and biodiversity. And those are key areas that Kuwait actually is promoting and included in their nationally determined commitments for the COP26 and also during last COP in Glasgow. It's very important that we highlight that Kuwaitis are actually having new innovative approaches to support the leadership ambitions into Kuwait as a country that are respecting biodiversity, are recycling and promoting actually renewable energies. We see that Kuwaiti young people who we are going to celebrate today are going to be actually promoted, and their ideas will be more widely distributed in our next conferences till the next COP at the end of this year in Sharm el-Sheikh, the Arab Republic of Egypt. We believe in the young Kuwaitis. We believe in their role in promoting and actually taking the lead in supporting government efforts and other stakeholders' efforts in environmental action, in climate change action, and they should be actually well celebrated. And today in Ramadan, the good month, we are saying to our young Kuwaitis, our partners, that we respect your ideas, we appreciate your ideas, we appreciate what you are doing for climate in Kuwait and for the environment in Kuwait. And this is the day where we tell you thank you. Thank you to all the young people of Kuwait for taking Kuwait forward.
Today's event is mainly looking at the youth and the climate change. It is a recognition for all the youth who have been working with the United Nations for a long time on the topic of the climate change. It is also an occasion to meet with our partners from several walks of life, including the academia, the private sector, the government, and the most important, the volunteers, because the youth are a very important factor when we are talking about the climate change. And then we are always looking to engage the youth on several topics. And today occasion occasion is mainly about the climate change and their engagement in Kuwait in that area.
And we're back from this report, and we've been joined by our first guest for this evening, Dr. Seung-Jin Baek, Chief Economist and Acting Head of Office of the UN Secretary General, Representative and Resident Coordinator, Kuwait. Good evening, Doctor. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. It's actually our pleasure to have you with us here on Hala Kuwait. And at the beginning, I really want to know about the work of the UN office here in Kuwait.
Well, our UN office in Kuwait is comprised of more than 20 UN agencies, funds, and programs, such as UN Development Program, World Health, WHO, and
Yes.
International Labour Organization, etc. And the more than half of which they are located in UN House complex in
That's
Mishuf.
great.
And well, the office itself, that which I'm in, is the office of UN Secretary General Representative and the
Yes.
Resident Coordinator to State of Kuwait. We are coordinating the multi-dimensional work of UN agencies to be integrated in order to maximize our synergy effects among us, so as to deliver our service to the State of
Nice.
Kuwait as a one UN approach. And furthermore, we've been preparing for the UN Strategic Cooperation Framework, which is sort of a 4-year the UN cooperation program
Yes.
for New Kuwait, and which is fully designed to, let's say, support the effective implementation of Kuwait National Development Plans, and so as to contribute to realizing the Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development, as well as
Great.
New Kuwait Vision 2035.
That's amazing. So there's definitely a lot of work being done here in the UN House, and of course, a lot of projects to look forward to.
That's
Yes.
true. That's true.
So I want to know about the World Earth Day of 2022, and of course the Ghabqa that went on yesterday in the UN House premises. How was it? Can you tell us about it?
Well, the first of all, World Earth Day is an annual event to be celebrated every year, 22nd of April.
Yes.
And it's been already more than 50 years, starting 1970, to basically demonstrate our effort in protecting environment, our planet. So this year's theme was investing in our planet,
Yes.
which is aimed at building a prosperous and equitable and green future. So for this purpose, we hosted Ghabqa for climate action last night in our UN House, in order to celebrate not just the World Earth Day, but also to recognize tremendous efforts made by climate friends
Yes.
in Kuwait, who actually contribute and participate in our UN Day last October.
Nice. And I think the Ghabqa was a perfect opportunity to celebrate this occasion that's been going on for 50 years. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
So what about the climate friends? And there's also a hashtag. Can you tell us about that?
Wow, climate friends is, well, let me share some. In last year, October, in UN Day, the main theme was about youthful climate action. In the events where we invite all the relevant stakeholders, including
Yes.
the environmental activists, NGO volunteers, and youth representative and local community and government and diplomatic community, for them to share their best practices against climate changes.
Yes.
And so this was excellent. And in particular, within the program in the UN Day, we convened the thematic talk by local community, especially young Kuwaitis.
Yes.
Okay? And they discuss in the area of biodiversity, the renewable energy, and also waste management. And we were actually very impressed by young Kuwaiti of how much they are concerning over climate action, and also how much they are putting collectively and comprehensively and individually the climate action moving forward.
That's right, and I think we've all noticed there has been a lot of awareness with the younger generation lately when it comes to anything to do with the climate and anything to help better our climate. So that's amazing, and unfortunately a bit over 2 years ago we got to know COVID-19, and a lot has changed since, and we don't really know if it has impacted our environment positively or negatively. Can you tell us about the impacts of it?
Well, it's a very difficult, complicated question to answer. I'm explaining why. As we have an experience over the past 2 years, and also we are still experiencing COVID-19, right? And the COVID-19 pandemic is affecting every part of our lives, such as economic activity, especially even the education modality. We are now digitalizing.
Yes.
And various others. And as far as environment concerned, there is a general consensus that the COVID-19 pandemic seems to contribute to reduction of environmental pressure, such as like reduction of energy-related emissions, and let's say reduction of agriculture-related environmental pressure, and especially also air quality, which is one of the hot issues in Kuwait.
Yes.
But all these environmental impacts can be considered short run, in my view, and even still remain controversial. Why? According to the recent research conducted by Environmental Public Authority, EPA in Kuwait, they did very interesting scientific research using empirical method, indicating that the concentration for pollutant decrease. Of course,
yes,
mainly because of decrease of traffic, decrease of...
That's right.
But the concentration for the PM2.5, the fine particle matter, which is indicator that is related to, associated with the human health and well-being,
Yes.
actually increased. Why? Because mainly probably due to the transported dust
Right.
with the northwest wind prevailing in Kuwait coming from Arabian desert and
Yes.
Iraq. This actually indicates that climate action is not the issue only within the country, but beyond the border, which
Yes.
requires our collective effort at the regional and sub-regional level. But another thing, if you think about the long run, it's a different story. The COVID-19 effect changes of socio-economic activity,
Yes.
production method, and the consumption pattern. We are plastic, using too much.
That's
And
right.
all of these factors will collectively and comprehensively affect back to the environment. So it is kind of tricky that,
Yes.
my view, those issues should be divided into the, let's say, short versus long run issues, also sectoral basis or issue based, so that we can answer.
It's definitely a very deep issue, and we could talk about it for hours. And I think you used the best word, which is tricky, because short term, there was less cars on the road. All of us were at home in lockdown, so the air quality was a bit better. But at the same time, production was through the roof. Everyone was ordering online, and our habits really changed. So hopefully we'll get to see the effects long term. So finally, I'd like to know, do you have any advice for our audience watching this evening on maintaining a healthy environment?
Well, if I may, 2 or 3 level of intervention, or let's say area of intervention, can be considered important in Kuwait. First, me as economist, the evidence-based policy making is important in Kuwait.
Yes.
Why? the policy-making process should be fully informed by
Yes.
the integrated system of statistics and data. But for instance, the economic policy should be taking into account the implication to the environment,
Yes.
monetary implication, if you will. And so that UN, we are promoting and discussing with the national government to adopt kind of a system of environmental accounting system, which can inform the beyond GDP, not GDP. So this is one. And maybe second will be, as we are promoting as a UN, the community lead initiative is critical for environmental action. And this can be the effective mechanism approach to nudge for behavior change
Yes.
at individual level and let's say local community level. So maybe last but not least, we have to put youth or young Kuwaiti in the driving seat for climate action. And in the next 20 years, they will become the key player in our society, not
That's
us.
right.
And they will be the one who will be either suffering from or enjoying with climate action now. So
Exactly.
let us empower them, let us give them the playground for them to play, to be innovative, and let us give the ownership of it for our future planet.
Definitely. Well, that's great advice, and we just need change and awareness, as you said. Thank you so much for being with us, Doctor. It was an absolute pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Dear viewers, we had with us Dr. Seung-Jin Baek, Chief Economist and Acting Head of Office in the UN Secretary General, Representative and Resident Coordinator in Kuwait. Up next, we have our weekly segment, Did You Know? Stay tuned.
جاهز ارمي
Did you know? Ramadan canon, مدفع الإفطار. مدفع الإفطار, literally the canon for breaking the fast, is an ancient tradition that started in Egypt and spread to several surrounding Arab countries. Every day, minutes before the Maghrib Adhan, a cannon would fire a single shot to notify people the time of Iftar and Ramadan, when Muslims get to break their long day fasting as the sun sets. Though the tradition is practiced today in most parts of the Arab world, the blast of the cannon was first used to inform the entire city of the time of Iftar, before the invention of clocks, TVs, or cell phones. The cannon is first fired to herald the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan, and then each day to announce the breaking of the fast at the sunset prayers of Maghrib. Most historians agree the practice originated in Egypt, with some claiming it dates back as far as the 10th century, when one of the Fatimid caliphs ordered a cannon to be placed on Cairo's Muqattam Hill. So all Muslims would hear the signal to break their fasts. Other historians trace the tradition to the Mamluk ruler Saif ad-Din Khushqadam in the 15th century. But the most common account places the origin of the custom in the 19th century, during the reign of the Ottoman ruler Muhammad Ali. A popular story is that the practice originated during the reign of the Mamluk ruler Khush Qadam. It was said the Sultan was given a cannon and that his soldiers tested it by firing it on one sunset. By coincidence, this happened at the end of the day's fasting in Ramadan. When the people of Cairo heard the boom, they took it as a sign they could end their fast. And where they were so thrilled with the idea that they thronged to the palace to congratulate the Sultan, seeing an opportunity to endear her father for the people, his daughter Hajja Fatima urged him to fire the cannon every day for iftar. He agreed, and the tradition of Midfa al-Iftar was born, with the local nickname Hajja Fatima.
Well, we're back right here on Hala Kuwait, and I hope everyone out there is enjoying their evening. Right now, we have a very distinguished guest with us. We have with us Mr. Ashok Kalra, Managing Partner of Mughal Mahal General Trading and Contracting Company. We'd like to welcome you to our program, Mr. Ashok. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Well, good evening, Mr. Tariq. Thanks for inviting me, especially during the holy month of Ramadan.
It's a pleasure to have you. You're a pillar in the Indian community and a well-known, renowned businessman. Thank you for coming with us tonight.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Mr. Ashok, maybe you could tell us now a little bit about some of the charity work that you were involved in during this holy month of Ramadan, right here in the state of Kuwait, sir.
Sure, Mr. Tariq. Well, since my inception into business in 1985, we have been involved in a lot of social and humanitarian work on our own and along with like-minded organizations in this country. Now, just to give you a very latest example, most recently during COVID, we distributed almost ready-to-eat meals to almost several hundreds of people. And then with the initiative of our Embassy of India, under the dynamic leadership of our Ambassador Shri C.B. George, we formed an Indian sports group.
Tell us about that.
Indian Community Sports Group,
Very
known
good.
as ICSG.
Okay.
So with the help of ICSG, we were able to distribute thousands of food kits comprising of food items along with some medical supplies. And we got a lot of help even from the local charitable organizations in Kuwait like Al-Najat. Al-Najat really worked with us hand to hand to reach us to places where we were unable to reach. So we had a lot of help. Another incident I can quote that during the height of pandemic last year in May, June in India, when COVID was at the peak, again the ICSG group, Indian Community Sport Group, with the help of Kuwait government and other Indian organizations in Kuwait, we were able to collect and dispatch the first consignment of 250 tons of liquid medical oxygen.
I remember that, yes.
Yeah, and it saved a lot of lives back home. And then other consignments were followed after this with the help of the Kuwait government.
Yeah, Mr. Ashok, this just proves the strong friendship and cooperation between Kuwait and India on so many fronts.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And it has proven this was the most difficult time we faced in India, and Kuwait was just standing next to us.
Mr. Ashok, please could you tell us about now some of the charity work during this month, the holy month of Ramadan, that you and some of your colleagues are also helping out with?
Well, mainly what we did was, as you know, this holy month of Ramadan is a period of the year which gives us an opportunity to intercept our actions and behavior, and to seek ways of being more compassionate and thoughtful to the needs of others.
And yes, you've been doing a great job. I think you do this on a yearly basis for maybe two decades or more now.
Otherwise, yes, we have been doing this.
Tell us a little bit how and to whom this work is distributed during this month, sir.
Well, now you mean to say how we do,
yes,
how the volunteers
tell us about
come.
the process.
Yeah, the word,
because there's a lot of logistics to all of this.
There is a lot of volunteers. Now, this word volunteer itself is somebody who comes forward freely,
giving of his or her time.
Time, and be a part of the activity.
Exactly.
Because the volunteer has to understand that there is no financial gain or there is no material gain in any form. It is only the mental relief what a person gets by helping the needies. So I will say that it's not we who make the volunteer to work. It's our actions which will make him to work, and the gain what he gets is only mental and spiritual during this especially holy month of Ramadan.
Which is a very important aspect.
Yes, there is no financial, nothing except these two things, mental and spiritual, which we always look for, especially during this month of Ramadan.
Exactly, very well said, Mr. Ashok. And you mentioned at the top of our interview the strong collaboration with His Excellency Mr. C.B. George, the Ambassador of India. Elaborate a little bit more on the cooperation with the Indian Embassy.
I can say very confidently that whichever venture we have been involved in, we have been getting unstintingly support and encouragement from the Embassy of India under the dynamic leadership of our Ambassador, Shri C.B. George, and we have been getting a lot of help from Kuwait government. And we, on behalf of the Indian community, I can say with confidence that we are really, really grateful to the officials of the Embassy of India as well as to Kuwaiti officials, those who have been of great help to us.
Mr. Ashok, you're a well-known businessman right here in the state of Kuwait, known for doing business here for many decades and giving back to society and the Indian community. Tell us a little bit about how to get involved in business and so forth for our audience, maybe the young people who may be watching, sir.
Well, I am a very ordinary man. It's nothing that I am really blessed to be in Kuwait. And today you have given me an honor that I am a very good businessman or strong businessman. It's all because of our services, what we have rendered to the community. And we are really blessed. And I can vouch that today our success in Kuwait is because of the people of Kuwait. Otherwise, I would have not get this title from you that I am a known businessman. This all has come by the blessings of the Kuwaitis and our friends in Kuwait.
And tell us, how are things now after, things are a little better now after COVID? Are things coming back? Elaborate with some detail about this, on how the overall environment is now.
As far as the business is concerned, overall environment is concerned, people have opened up. They have started moving out because almost for the last 2 years, people were frustrated by sitting at home.
Exactly.
And of course, there was a time now, everything, you want to order medicine, you want to order food, you want to order anything, talabat, talabat, talabat.
Yes.
But now, from my business, from my sales, I can see that people are visiting more and more.
That's great.
And the figures have changed from talabat to self-dine-in.
Excellent. Yeah. So things are getting back to where they were before and even better.
Definitely, they are getting better.
That's great to hear that.
Although we had a very tough
time. Go
ahead,
ahead, tell us.
Although we had a very tough time, 2 years, I think most of the businesses, they lost a lot of money. and there were financial
This
crises
is, I think,
also.
worldwide. It
Yes,
affected everyone.
worldwide it happened. But I can say that confidently that people are reviving back now. And slowly and gradually, I think in next 6 months' time, things will be very stable and we'll be back as we were in 2019.
That's great. We hope for that, Mr. Ashok. And you touched on volunteering earlier and how it's very rewarding for someone to volunteer their time. So tell us about volunteering, you know, in the society. How do you make your community volunteer and help out? And how do you get them involved in these things?
Well, we just spread out the news, and as I mentioned earlier, that anyone who wants to volunteer, he has to offer himself freely the services in that particular activity. So one thing has to be very clear if somebody wants to be a volunteer, that in this job there is no financial gain, there is no material gain. It is only the mental satisfaction what you get by helping the needy or providing foods to people or assisting them the way they are looking for.
It's very rewarding to give
it's
back.
It's very rewarding. So
when you give back, you know, you will get back.
So just to answer your question is that we cannot make someone to volunteer.
Sure.
We can only encourage them through our actions to volunteer, and from volunteering they have to understand there is no gain whatsoever. It is only the mental and spiritual gain. I repeat again, mental and spiritual gain during this holy month of Ramadan.
And Mr. Ashok, you and your colleagues who are pillars in the Indian community lead by example, setting example for the youth and so forth on volunteering and giving back to society. And it's always such a pleasure to have you with us on our program. Do you have any last bit of advice or comments for the people who may be tuning in this evening to our program, Hala Kuwait, sir?
Well, I will just say that especially during holy month of, why to wait for the holy month of Ramadan? They should come up, make a habit of helping the needy, because always there is a requirement and there is a need. There are always people, those who have some problems. So one should not wait for only holy month of Ramadan. It should become as a part of our regular practice in life.
Year round.
Year round, yes, you are rightly said.
Well, Mr. Ashok, it's a pleasure to have you with us right here on the program. Wishing you and your colleagues all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you for your valuable time and insight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tariq. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'd like to thank Mr. Ashok Kalra, Managing Partner of Mughal Mahal General Trading and Contracting Company. We wish him all the best of luck in his future endeavors. Right now, we want to move on to our next report and take a look at the signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding between UNICEF and VO. So stay tuned.
And welcome, dear viewers. This is Fatma Al Sayegh from Hala Kuwait. This report is coming to you from the United Nations House, State of Kuwait. What a wonderful news we got for you today, where the UNICEF and VO are collaborating to support the talented youth in Kuwait. Let's see.
We have gathered here today to sign an agreement between VO and UNICEF. As you know, UNICEF has been here for about a year, and one of the main areas of our work is to support growth and talent of young people in Kuwait. We're hoping to be able to support the government and the private sector, education, employment, skills for young people so that they can be competitive in the job market and they can grow up to be strong young people who will be successful in the future. So we're standing at disposal to continue these kind of programs. This is the first among the programs that we want to start, and hopefully we will continue together for the young people of Kuwait.
of all, I would like to highlight the importance of the MOU that has been signed today between VO platform in Kuwait, VO Hub, and also the UNICEF organization, the United Nations Children Organization of the United Nations. It's very important to highlight that this agreement capitalize on the efforts that VO has been doing to be a platform for the innovations and for the entrepreneurship promotion of young Kuwaitis and their ideas and their innovative solutions for the economy and for the development in Kuwait. The UNICEF has their Generation Unlimited program where it helps to bring different international standards and practices from different parts of the world towards different countries, and we are intending to bring this experiences to Kuwait, but also from the other hand to benefit other youth in the different parts of the world with the Kuwaiti young people experience, because they have very well educated young Kuwaitis. They have enthusiasm, they have innovation, and they are leading in their expertise either in climate change, either in economy, in retail, in many sectors that they are working in. We would like this to capitalize on the experiences of VO and to link the international world with the Kuwaiti young people, because they will be leading the development of Kuwait now and in the future. They are the target and they are the future to lead sustainable development of Kuwait towards the new Kuwait 2035 as smart Kuwait.
That was the end of this report. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.
Well, we're back right here on Hala Kuwait, and I hope you're enjoying tonight's episode. If you're just tuning in, you're watching KTV2, the family channel, and your favorite local program, Hala Kuwait. We're on every evening during the holy month of Ramadan from 10 p.m. to about 11 p.m. And Rita, it's been a very interesting episode so far, some interesting guests.
That's right. Our first guest, Dr. Singh, spoke about the environment and how we can really take care of it. And I like the part where we talked about COVID-19 and the difference that lockdowns did and how we all stayed at home, air got better, less cars on the street. So I think that was the positive part of COVID.
That was one of the good things, and we hope these things continue for our environment. It's very important to better take care of our environment. Also, our second guest, Mr. Ashok, Rita, talking about giving back, volunteering, and charity, which is one of the essential things, Rita, during the holy month of Ramadan. So
that's right.
Really some very top-notch guests with us this evening, right here on the program. And as usual, Rita, the camera crew have been very busy, filming all around the state of Kuwait. A lot of variety, a lot of different things going on right here in our beautiful country. Right now, Rita, we're going to get to our next report, and it's dealing with mosques. So stay tuned for this.
Building mosques, maintaining them, and preparing them for prayer performers are among the best doings of goodness, for which Allah Almighty grants great rewards. They are among continuous charities where reward continues even after a person dies. The Mosque of Tayba al-Khalid, named after the charitable Tayba Khalid al-Zayd al-Khalid, a virtuous woman from Kuwait. The mosque was founded in 1393 AH, corresponding to the year 1973 AD. It was rebuilt in 1431 AH, corresponding to the year 2010 AD. It was previously called Mosque of Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr. It is located in An-Nuzha area in the capital governorate in the state of Kuwait. The mosque has one square minaret, founded on square bases too, ending on bricks with a crescent. The mosque has side entrances. The main entrance is crowned with 3 round arches with perfectly designed notches carried on slick round columns, and the entrance has dark red bricks on top that gave the entrance a beautiful touch. The main prayer hall is large and has 4 round columns with square marble columns with square marble bases. The central dome sits on a square base with a huge chandelier hanging with many bulbs that spread the light all over the prayer hall. In addition to the small consecutive windows inside it through which the sun ray enters. The windows of the mosque are elongated and of glass covered with blue curtains that added luxury to them. The ceiling of the prayer hall is decorated with Quranic verses written in a harmonious way. The ceiling has 8 medium-sized chandeliers in addition to small lamps everywhere. The mihrab of Taib al-Khalid's mosque in the Nuzha area is crowned with Quranic verses in colors that induce solemnity and faith. They are in harmony with the decorations that show the deep-root connection between calligraphy and decorations through ages of building mihrabs. The mihrab and the pulpit to the right and left are crowned with round arches with notches designed in perfection. Mihrabs have creative shapes, which designers and architects do an amazing job creating them. They reflect the spirit of the ages through which the mihrabs have gone through in size and shape, and their depths in the facade. Mosques are the most beloved spots to Allah Almighty. Maintaining them is a sign of faith. Taib al-Khalid's mosque has an amazing architectural style and a huge area with other facilities like the library, water closets, and ablution places. A huge prayer hall and another hall for women with a separate entrance and has the same decorations of the main prayer hall.
Welcome back to the studios of Hala Kuwait for a final time this evening. So we had an hour filled with guests that spoke about really important and great topics from the environment, of course, all the way to volunteering. I hope you enjoyed that and all our reports. Tariq, I enjoyed hosting with you this evening.
My pleasure also. It was a very enjoyable episode. I hope you enjoyed all that we brought to you. Make sure to enjoy the rest of your viewing this evening and all throughout the weekend right here on KTV2, the family channel. Before you leave, you remember to always take care of yourselves and each other, and let's always remember to respect one another. Have a nice evening and good night for now.